in the Capital Region, Judge Idgens and Judge Gardino run drug courts. In your opinion, what role should treatment play in regard to our drug laws?
Well, again, so is Judge Herrick. We just had a case yesterday with Judge Herrick in the county court. And again, I think it's great that some of the judges are treating this as a sickness and not so much as a dependency, as a crime. And I agree with, and I've spoken to some of the judges about this, and I think that it'll help. But again, the recidivism rate in the narcotics is running about 85%. So I would say if someone goes through drug court at, let's say, 50 people, I can guarantee out of those 50 people, 20 people are going to go back into the field of using narcotics.
So that's just part of the relapse, is part of the recovery.
Absolutely. The relapse is just, I mean, and what happens if the addict that gets hit with a stressful situation will go back and depend on the narcotic.
So you think drug courts are a good thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Any way that we can stop it or slow it down. But again, every year that since I've been in the field of narcotics, our arrests have went up. The price of some of the drugs have gone down. The price of heroin back in 1980 was $10 for a 3 to 5 grain bag of heroin. Today, that same bag sells for $8, and the purity level has went from 3% to 60%. And heroin users will now go and snort the drug instead of shooting the drug because of the diseases that are associated with hypodermics and syringes, being hepatitis, being AIDS, and whatever else. But again, the use of heroin is also increased, and that's again, we've been doing this since in the late 70s, but the price of heroin has actually gone down.
Okay, another person we spoke with was Eric Sterling. He's the executive director of the Criminal Justice Policy Foundation.
Okay.
And he makes this point. He says that the drug war oppresses the African American community, and one of the reasons for his theory is that from the 1930s to the 70s, when we had segregation, the incarceration rate for blacks remained steady at 113 per 100,000. Then when President Nixon declared a war on drugs, the incarceration rate for blacks has steadily grown disproportionately to their population overall, and he points to the change in drug policy as the main cause for this disparity. Does he have a valid point?
That's a tough question. I don't. Again, we're out there to find whoever sells drugs, whether he's white, whether he's black, and I can't help if the information that comes back into the field of narcotics is a black dealer.
Oh, I don't think he's pointing any blame on the people who are enforcing the laws, but he's saying, I think he's more saying that the policy has taken a lot of black men out of the equation of raising their families, and just the damage that the incarceration does in the African American community.
It does. I mean, I mean, a lot. Probably with us, our unit, we're only about 50%. But it's hard for me to get into that because I don't know. I mean, socially, I'm not into the causes or who does the sales. It's just I'm not. I don't do it. It's something that if we get a dealer, and that dealer is whatever nationality, I mean, he's going to be arrested. And whether we take him out of society and put him into a prison, it's no bearing on your local narcotics or your federal narcotics. You receive information, you react to it.
Do you have less resources to go after people in the suburbs who might be doing this kind of activity than, because I'm saying in the city you have more witnesses, you have more foot traffic, and in the suburbs you might not be able, your resources might not be able to reach out into that community to find the dealers there.
It's correct. I mean, to a degree, but I mean, again, you get more information on the bigger dealers because in this drug field, there's a lot of jealousy. So if a guy is dealing in the city where there's a lot more dealers, they will have the tendency to tell on the other dealer because of jealousy. In the suburbs, it's just not as much because the population isn't as high. But we make a lot of arrests up there. In fact, you usually do a lot of marijuana arrests up there. But when we get the information, we'll react on it and we make arrests. But if you say how many arrests do you make in the cities compared to the suburbs, it's probably like 10 to 1.
10 to 1 in favor.
I'm giving off the top of my head.
In favor of the cities?
City, yeah. Mm-hmm. But then again, a lot of times the people from the suburbs come in to purchase and then go back to the suburbs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And what about the failures of the policy?
It's the same like I told you before. Our arrest rates just keep going up every year, whether it's by 5%. Since I've been in the field of narcotics since 1975, I've never seen the arrests
Decrease.
a decrease in arrests. Whether the arrests are for
Well, you were also talking about the purity and the price, and that can't bode well either.
no. Again, the price of heroin has gone down, and the quality of the drug is going up. It's the only thing I know. I mean, everything else, like if you go in a store and buy a 6-pack of soda, it's going up every year, 10%, 11%, whatever the percentages are. But in the field of heroin, which is diacetylmorphine, has gone down.
What about marijuana?